Hi, Achim Schlöffel, InnerSpace Explorers. We get an email from somebody asking me about tank sizes and what the recommendation is for various classes, where you want to go, if you want to go more technical, more recreational, and so on. So as this question comes up quite often, I thought we're going to talk about it. So the workhorse of DRR style diving or technical diving in general is for sure the double 12. The more interesting point, in my opinion, is to make people understand the relation between the weight of the tanks and the volume, because a lot of people still think a double 12 is a double 12, and that in fact is not the case. So for me, the standard double 12 is 14.4 kilos. That's a tank I use a lot, and I know exactly with that dry suit, with that undergarment, with my standard steel backplate, and this tank, I need that amount of weight. In fact, I don't need weight at all. So when I go somewhere now and I get a double 12, let's say with 13.5 kilograms, I know that I roughly need around 2 kilograms of weight, additional weight, to be comfortable again. So you should know your numbers again. The number of your set of tanks and how much weight you need to be comfortable with that. And then you can adjust. So now when you know your set of tanks is okay with that amount of weight in fresh water and you go to salt water, you know you have to add a little bit. If you go somewhere, you get a set of tanks from somebody. I mean, that's the nice thing of the system, right? I mean, it's the same set of doubles, same manifold, bands, bolts, distance of the bolts, so you can take basically everything. But then you don't have to jump from the boat and swim back and ask for more weights because you know up front. So coming back to tank sizes, the double 12 is great, and I would say it's great for the average person. So if you're very short or very tall, it might be a little bit different. So the height of the tanks on your back is defined by the reachability. So when you have the tanks on your back, the manifold knob should be somewhere between your shoulder and your ears. So that's the point where you can easily reach them, right? So even if it is a little bit hard on dry land, because the tanks are pushing down, when you're horizontal, it will be easy. So if I take on a double 12, the double 12 is roughly here. So it's basically sitting on my butt, which makes it very nice and comfortable to be in good trim. So when you, let's say, are 2 meter and 10, let's take it to the extreme, the double 12 will end somewhere like here, which makes it very uncomfortable. Same as when I'm diving a double 10, for example. So when you're very short, let's say shorter than 160, they may end up somewhere here, which again makes it very uncomfortable. So again, this is only a rule of thumb for the average person. So if you're like 160, try a double 10, it might be the perfect tank for you. If you're 2 meters something, yeah, I mean, it's getting a little bit tough to find longer ones, but at least you may be able to realize where an eventual trim problem comes from. So bigger tanks like double 18, double 20, double 15, basically the same thing occurs. Double 15 is a little bit short. So if I have a choice, I would always prefer like a double 18. Double 20 is really, really big. So I'm close to 190. So even for me, if I have a choice, I take a double 18. Very comfortable, and the proportions of the tanks are quite nice. So the question is always, do you want to go on a bigger set of doubles, or do you want to add a bottom stage? So roughly, when you follow our minimum gas calculations in the 60 meter range, you come to a point where you need a full set of double 12s as minimum gas. So now either you have to take a bottom stage as an addition, or you have to go to bigger tanks. From an economic point of view, the bottom stage usually is the smarter solution, especially if you're not diving a lot that deep. So in all honesty, I don't even have a double 18 or double 20 anymore because I don't use it. If I go really deep and I would use these tanks, I use a rebreather. And otherwise it's still easier to carry a bunch of stages and handle them. It gives you more opportunities as well. Talking about smaller tanks, as I said, double 10, still the proportions are not ideal. If you're very short, it might be a good solution. You have to give it a try. A very popular tank is a double 7, which I never really understood, because I mean, from the volume it's comparable to a 15 single. Obviously the double 7 is nice on the back because it doesn't roll as much as a heavy single tank's doing. But at the same time they're really, really short. If I'm carrying a double 7, they end something like here. So all the weight is on the shoulders. When you're horizontal, you always have a feeling they push you down, so you compensate and you end up in a 45-degree angle. So it takes a lot more effort and a lot more body tension to maintain good trim. So I do not really recommend them. I mean, there can be a substitute for somebody doing pure recreational diving who doesn't want to handle a 15, for example, but it's not really nice. What becomes really popular at the moment is the 8.5 liter double tanks, which are around about the size of a double 12 from the length, but they're considerably shorter, so more like a double 7. I personally, but please understand, personal, I think they're unbelievably ugly and totally out of proportions. But a lot of people like them, and so if you are, let's say, average size, and the double 12 is too heavy or it's too much gas for you, you just want to do recreational diving or not that deep technical stuff, and a double 12 is basically too much gas for you, it might be a solution. Give it a try, have a look at them. I personally don't like them, but that doesn't mean anything. Everything else, like a double 8 for example, is simply wrong, because 8 liter tanks really short. Doubles is like these short, fat 12 liter single tanks. It's the same nonsense. It's a horrible tank, and it will always be very hard for you to maintain trim. So as a rule of thumb, when you take a tank on your back, you put it on your harness, you put it on, the valve is in a position where you can easily reach it. Check out where the bottom of the tank is. It should be roughly underneath your belt, so it should reach your butt. If it ends considerably higher, it will always be hard for you to maintain good trim and buoyancy. Alright, I hope that helped a little bit, and follow us on Facebook, check out our YouTube channel, and hope to see you soon. Bye.